Hi, I'm Dempsey Pallot, and this week I'm reviewing Under the Silver Lake was written and directed by David Robert Mitchell and stars Andrew Garfield as a man who becomes infatuated with his new next-door neighbor. That is, until she goes missing. After her disappearance, he decides to launch his own investigation, which only leads him to come across a much greater conspiracy. Now, some of you guys might already know this, but this film was actually on my list of most anticipated films of 2019. It was actually supposed to be released last year, but there was a lot of problems with it. Well, not major problems, but I think there were some issues that the studio had, so they had to push it back. But you know what? None of that matters, because it's finally here. I finally got to see it, and I really don't know what to make of it, truthfully. And also, I'm not too proud saying this, but I actually saw it twice. And not for the reasons you would think. It's not because, it's so good that you have to see it twice. This film is very cryptic. There's a lot going on here. I'm not going to lie. Not too much going on. I'm not going to say that because I still think I'm trying to decipher some of the puzzles within it. There's just a lot to unpack. I think that's safe enough to say. But not in a bad way. And I wish I could spoil some of the things for you, but number one, I'm not going to do a spoiler review for this movie because it would be way too much. And I think a lot of it would be more theory-based than anything. This film is going to be one that definitely has a lot of open interpretations. It's totally one of those. And also, even if I felt like if I did spoil some of it, it might actually confuse some of you guys, especially if you haven't seen the movie, so I'm just going to stay away from spoilers entirely, as you might have already guessed, but yeah. This film was just a lot. Once again, this film wasn't bad. There were actually a lot of things that I liked about it. For instance, the music. The music was just amazing. It's laced throughout the film, and it really gives it that old-timey feel, and that actually ties into another one of the things that I really liked about this film as well, which is the fact that it is a love letter to Hitchcock, okay? This film just screams Hitchcock. I feel personally that this is a film that, Hitchcock would have made had he still been alive. And it's just littered with a bunch of Hitchcock-inspired set pieces and imagery that you would normally find in Hitchcock's films. I just loved it. I love that aspect about it anyway. And that old-timey feel is also something that I kind of didn't like about it either. This film, while very much set in the present, just seems so obsessed with the past. And yes, I know I mentioned the homages to Hitchcock, but it goes a little bit deeper than that. A lot of the characters in the film seem so obsessed with time periods from before. There are repeated references to Janet Gaynor, Grace Kelly, even some of the clothing choices are like from the 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s. It varies, I'm not even lying. And while, like I said, it is clearly set in the past, they use the internet, they have iPhones, there were times throughout the film that I totally forgot what era this film was in. But while that is one of the negative things and things that I didn't really like about this film, it also kind of ties into one of the theories that I had about it too, which I'm obviously not going to talk about here. If you've seen the movie or if you want to know what it is, feel free to comment below in the comment section or, tweet me. I'll put my Twitter in the description box below. But yeah, this film is so strange all across the board. The direction is really good. It's another thing that I really liked. But other than that, it's just a really, really strange thing. And it's a film that I don't think a lot of people will hate. I think a lot of people will be confused by it, but ultimately, I do feel like it's going to become a cult classic. That I'm 1,000% sure of. It may not be the best film, and I know it's not the best received film right now, but to me, it has a lot of the ingredients of what makes a cult classic. I know that decades from now, the internet will be obsessed with this film. I do think it's ahead of its time in that sense. I'm not gonna lie, I really do appreciate what David Robert Mitchell has done here. He's pretty much turned the detective fiction tale that we all know and turned it into a psychedelic adventure. It starts off so ordinary with Andrew Garfield going around showing Riley Keough's picture, she plays his next door neighbor, asking, have you seen this girl? Where was the last time you saw this girl? You know, typical questions, and then that leads him down a rabbit hole into something so contorted that, you know, by the end of the film, her disappearance isn't even the biggest mystery anymore. There's something much bigger happening. I love that. I love that. But at the same time, it just feels so ambitious. I think that's my biggest pet peeve about it. Like I said, there's so much going on. Don't get me wrong, all of it connects by the end. There are little, you know, cookie crumbs thrown here and there, but by the end of it, it all connects. All the dots are put together to form the picture. But there are also lots of new questions raised. And, you know, it's films like this that make me excited about film as a whole. Although I may not necessarily agree with their entire execution. But like I said, it's exciting. It's fresh. It's just different, and I think that's why it was on my radar in the first place. That's why I was so looking forward to it, because it looked like something that, you know, we haven't seen in a while, or even before, arguably. Despite my problems with this film, I do still think it is a must-watch. However, I don't think it is a must-watch right now. Notice the disclaimer, okay? I still think it needs to settle into its status as a cult classic and, you know, gain a little bit more buzz, garner a little bit more curiosity around it before people can truly enjoy its strange perfection. And for that, I'm going to give this film 3.5 stars.
Nice.
Guys, thanks so much for watching. As always, if you like this video, hit that like button, and if you're not subscribed, I would ask you please subscribe. I post new videos weekly, and as I mentioned last week, I've got tons of new stuff coming out this week, so make sure you stay tuned. If you happen to see this movie, which is a very high likelihood because, well, it's pretty much been released everywhere else except for North America. There's just getting it in limited release right now. Feel free to talk to me about it in the comment section. There are tons of theories going around. There's a lot of room for many more theories. This film is, as I mentioned before in the review, very cryptic, and I think there are a lot of things that happen in it that are open for interpretation. So please let me know in the comment section below. I'd love to hear what any and all of you have to say, and as I mentioned here before, I love talking to you guys. It's probably my favorite thing about having a YouTube channel. But yeah, thanks so much for watching once again, guys. It really does mean the world to me that you take the time out of your day to view this video. And I can't wait to keep on making more. So, as I mentioned before, make sure you stay tuned. Until next time, I'm Dempsey Pilote. Take care.